Sort of. Watch this.
Looks like the owner approves. That is your fourth interception now against the Eagles. What is it about this team that brings out your best?
It's a division game. I got to come with it. I got to bring out my best. So, I really just want to lock in and hold on to all my opportunities. Coach Dan Quain's doing a very good job, keeping us focused. Even when we lose focus, he jumps on us. He doesn't let anything for error, no room for error, no room for slack. And, we need that as a team, just keep putting our foot on the gas, stay focused, and just compete.
So, Dak feeling good this season. There was a big question mark with Dallas and that defense, new defensive coordinator, new pieces. What is Micah Parsons? Well, take a look at the numbers the first 3 games last year compared to this season. They have absolutely showed up and turned it around. So, Golden, I know this is probably a little strange for you. You're used to being a player and just thinking about surviving and advancing in the next week, but this is TV and sports media. Based on what you've seen through 3 weeks, are the Cowboys contenders in the NFC?
It's too early to decide, but I do like where they're heading and where they're trending, and they're getting back to what I think they should be doing anyway. Run the ball and then play action pass and screens. And if you can control the game by running the ball and you have a good defense, you can just get ahead by 10 to 14 and milk the clock. And they didn't have to do that this time, but I love seeing Dak. He didn't throw it 40 times. He didn't need to. He had good quality throws, and he was just dropping dimes out there. But look, Zeke was running angry.
Yeah.
And I love to see it. So he's definitely hearing the noise, outside noise, and he said, I'm going to prove y'all.
People are going to say it was the Eagles. There's some deficiencies there, some question marks. What would you say to them?
I want to say it's a division game. It doesn't matter what the record is. When you're playing a division game, things turn up a notch. And you can definitely see it in the first half. Both teams come out and they were hitting hard. So I was impressed with Zeke and the offense, but also the defense. I know I'm not throwing it to Zig's side for a few weeks. I tell you that. He's got 3 picks in 3 weeks. I'm not throwing it his side for a little bit. I'm gonna let him cool off a little bit.
What do you think, Peter?
I'm gonna also this is hot take. I'm gonna actually wait as well. Okay, but not even for the next few weeks. This schedule, to me, is very interesting for the Cowboys because they had the Buccaneers the first week, and that's a Super Bowl champion in their building. They lost, but they played valiantly. They beat a Chargers team in L.A. They have their home opener. They blow out a division rival. I feel good, but look at their next 6 opponents here. The Cowboys can go on a little run, and let me explain why. Now, I know the Panthers are undefeated, but the Panthers also were not a playoff team last year. The Giants are struggling. They were no McCaffrey, and Giants struggling. Patriots do not look like the Patriots of old. Bye. Get your rest. Get your legs. Vikings, they looked good last week. They did not look good the first 2 weeks. Broncos, they're 3-0. They've played nobody. Then the Falcons, who are 1-2 with their 1 win against the Giants. It's conceivable the Cowboys win all of these games. And then they're sitting pretty and they're feeling good. And then we will then go into the stretch where they have to play the Chiefs. And then they have to play other teams that are going to be ready. The Raiders come up after that. Fascinating to see how they respond. If they're reading the headlines, how great this young defense is, if they're going to get full on themselves. Do not lose to the Panthers without Christian McCaffrey next week. This has to be ascending every single week because last year, what would happen is they'd put up a lot of points, they'd win, they'd put up a lot of points, they'd lose. The defense is going to be the key. If this defense can keep them in games like they did, Philly did not belong on the same field as Dallas yesterday. And that's not because of Zeke and Dak. It's because that defense completely suffocated Philly's offense. If they do that, and they win a couple games here, it's a nice cushion, especially in the NFC East. We could be talking about home playoff games for the Cowboys in January.
You've been pulling up that same schedule for weeks and weeks and weeks for the season, and you were almost like, let's get through these couple of games, and now, then we'll have an easy stretch. Are you super impressed with what they've done through those 3 weeks to make them think, are they contenders?
Conceivably, they could be 3-0 if Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady. They went into Los Angeles and beat a good Chargers team, as we know now, if they went into Kansas City. And then last night they embarrassed a division rival. Cowboys are for real.
Well, it's like, you were saying yesterday about the Broncos. People saying, well, they haven't played anybody. You're like, well, they played the Jets, but they beat them 26-0. You're supposed to beat up the teams and they beat them. It was like a clear separation of talent last night. The Eagles threw some punches, but the Cowboys, I feel like, win 8 out of 10. They look that much better. As far as, this is what we do now. Because I think this is a fascinating time in the NFL season. It's not week 1, it's not week 2. We've gotten a nice taste of these teams. 3 weeks in, we can start to get to some opinions. And this is what we do. Do we trust these teams? Do we trust the Raiders? Do we trust the Cowboys? I still, when I start to look at them as the NFC and I'm making up imaginary games of this person, because we'll have to with the Cowboys schedule, I'm seeing them at SoFi Stadium against the Rams, and Cooper Kupp just scored his 3rd touchdown, and the Cowboys safeties are saying, I thought you had him. I still think they got some questions to answer on defense. Like, a really good young linebacker and a ball-hawking corner does not a championship defense make. I don't know about the safeties. DeMarcus Lawrence, we haven't said his name. He's their best pass rusher. He's going to be out for weeks still. I think they are the class of the NFC East. I am not ready either to say Buccaneers, Rams, even Packers. Like, it's a very early. But this is week 3. This is what we do. And I think it's appropriate. We've gotten a good taste.
Where does Dak come out in this conversation for you? Because, well, then why wouldn't they be contenders in the NFC?
Secondary, defense, that type of thing.
I get that, but if they have the run game that can support and they have a good defense, even when those 2 things aren't working, it comes to the quarterback to put the team on his back. Don't you have faith?
Yeah.
That in those situations, been safe for both of those? Isn't that what we want when we talk about what a contender is? A quarterback that can lead a team?
Okay, that was very eloquently asked, but can you tell me what the safeties would be saying again on the Cowboys? He's awesome. The Cowboys have like 8 awesome players. Like,
you have questions about their defense.
For sure.
You can't bring up then.
No, I bet I have the same question with Packers.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm going to take it to you because you took Dak Prescott as your MVP before the season, before everyone else did.
I just thought he was going to have to throw it.
3 weeks into it, Dak Prescott, you're looking pretty smart right now. What do you think about it from what you've seen?
To be honest, I didn't buy the defense. I was very much with you in the putrid column, and I was like, he's going to have to throw 58 times a game, and he did that week 1 up against Tom Brady. And he might be in those situations again, and maybe it breaks his way because he's not going to face Tom Brady every week. I much more prefer him not to win the MVP and for this team to be balanced and give it to Pollard and give it to Zeke. I'm just trying to, there's no holes, so what are we worried about with them? You know what I'm saying? Is it the coaching maybe? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
There's some unproven stuff with that. And the secondary. Yeah, but there's, we can poke holes in everybody.
Sure.
We'll see. At GMFB, with
poke
your
hole
thoughts.
in Peter's MVP prediction. We got Russell Wilson.
On this.
1 and 2.
Okay.
Joe Judge, Coach of the Year. Hello.
Mike Garofalo joining us right now. Mike, we will not break down your MVP candidates or your fantasy team, but we do need an update from our guy. Hi, Mike. There he is. McCaffrey, what's going on with his hamstring? And I understand we have some good, positive news concerning Andy Reid. We'd love to hear it.
Yes, I'm shaking my head because of the fantasy comment. You do not want to break down my fantasy team. It is horrible. I don't know when it happened, Kay. I stink at fantasy. I got to start listening to you. Anyway, Christian McCaffrey, not on my fantasy team. He'll be out at least for 1 week, but the Panthers hoping he'll be back within a 3-week window, and that is why they said yesterday we are not going to place him on injured reserve because that would knock him out for a minimum of 3 games. Now, that doesn't mean that he's definitely going to miss fewer than 3 games. Even Matt Rule acknowledged yesterday that, maybe he'll be ready to go after the 3rd game and ready to go into that 4th week. So it's basically a decision by the team to say, hey, we're just going to keep it open because if we put him on injured reserve, we know he's down for 3, and then everybody's going to look around and say, hey, we definitely have no McCaffrey for the next 3 weeks. That's a mental toll on your team. So you want to keep open that possibility of McCaffrey being back with that hamstring strain sometime in the next couple of weeks. Andy Reid, you talked about the positive news. Released from the hospital on Monday. He was taken by ambulance after the game on Sunday, treated for dehydration. They knew from the beginning that this wasn't going to be a serious situation, despite the fact that you're seeing your coach, the players did, leaving the stadium in a hospital. They were told he's going to be okay, and that turned out to be the case. Yeah, he's okay. So the expectation was that he would be back to work today, ready to prepare for Sunday's game against the Eagles that we saw last night. It would be his 2nd game as head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs in Philadelphia. Remember, he went from Philly to Kansas City, and they went to Philly that first year. I remember how uncomfortable that was. A little bit more separation this time, so won't be as uncomfortable, but both teams needing a win after coming